Yeah, blowing smoke, showing growth. No one's close, never mashing brakes on break beats or going broke ever, never.
Yo, YouTube, is DFishFan here with another video. This is going to be Cards Not to Forget, episode 15. That's right, we are all the way up to episode 15, and I have 5 more cards to bring to you today. And make sure you don't forget them. So, to make sure that does not happen, let's go ahead and jump into the first card, which is going to be Nano Breaker. It's a Level 4 Earth attribute monster, machine type, 1600 attack, 1800 defense. If this card attacks a face-up level 3 or lower monster, destroy that monster with this card's effect without applying damage calculation. Similar wording to Catastor. The big difference would be that it isn't for attacks that are defended or received, so it's only when you're on the offensive. You would have to be attacking with Nano Breaker. But I would say one of the biggest things that stands out about this card, and it kind of took me for a surprise honestly, because I've seen this card before many times while sorting through in the past through commons, and it was just a very forgettable card. Now that I looked at it further in depth, it's an Earth, which is a pretty generic attribute, I would say, out of the main ones. I would say maybe excluding Dark and Light, of course. Level 4, most common level in the game. Machine. Machine has a shit ton of support. So picture this in a side deck for a Machina meta, or a gadget meta, or a Cyber Dragon meta, anything to that effect. You should be able to find room for a level 4 machine monster with decent stats that can destroy automatically any level 3 or lower monster it attacks. So it's definitely a card that I think is highly overlooked, and that's why I feel it fits perfect with this series. Alright, so on to the second monster today. We have Rose Fairy, probably the manliest card on this list. It's a wind level 3 plant, 600 attack, 1200 defense. If this card is added from your deck to your hand by the effect of a spell, trap, or monster card, you can special summon this card. So it's a free level 3 whenever it's searched. Obviously, searching nowadays has become extremely more prominent than it was in past archetypes or just past formats in general. It's a plant, so I personally feel plants have kind of been pushed aside for a lot of other types in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. And I do think that plants, although they've had their time to shine, they've had several formats to themselves for the most part. It's never really been a plant only deck, or a plant deck that doesn't rely on a lot of, I don't want to say broken mechanics, but a lot of overpowered mechanics. Something like the Tengu spam when that was at 3 and destroying everything, and plants were just running one-ofs everything else in Tengus. Or I believe what was that one new deck? Sylvans. I think they had a little bit of hype and won a couple tournaments if I'm not mistaken. But they never really lived up to it. I can see a plant deck utilizing search functions, needing that extra level 3, and one simple card that will allow this to search, let's say for example a normal, or not a normal, but a level 3 plant that you can, when it's normal, you can search for a plant type the same level. Something that simple can make this card extremely prominent by setting up rank 3 plays, setting up synchro plays. Obviously plants and synchros go hand in hand for the most part. So I definitely feel this is another card that fits in with this video very, very well alongside Nano Breaker. Alright, so that's going to be it for the monsters. Let's go ahead and move on to the spells. We have one spell in this video, and that's going to be Mimiclay. So Mimiclay is a normal spell. If your opponent controls a monster, target one face-up level 2 or lower defense position monster you control. Special summon one monster with the same name as that monster from your deck in defense position, and if you do, banish it when it leaves the field. You can only activate one Mimiclay per turn. I definitely understand that last sentence. I feel Mimiclay would be a little bit abusable at multiples per turn, honestly. I can really see this deck. I can really see this card being utilized to its full potential in a deck that thrives on creating a specific rank to exceed. So obviously, rank to exceed, if that's your main goal, you're gonna run a lot of monsters that are level 2. Herpaderp. That being said, usually cards that are a little bit too specific, like target one face up level 2 monster in defense position that you control. That's kind of like pretty situational if you break it down by each syllable, practically. However, with this card, I don't really mind so much. It's face up level 2 or lower, and it's in defense position. So if you have a face up level 2 monster, what position? I would say 90% of the time, and or if not more, it's going to be in defense position. So I don't really think it's as specific as it may seem on paper. I would pretty much say you can get away with running this in any level 2 deck that you would want to run triples of a single monster. So Mimiclay, I, I see this being really good in certain situations. I will say this is probably on the weaker end of this list. That being said, I do potentially see some huge plays being possible with this card. Alright, so next card, we're moving on to the traps. It's going to be Proof of Powerlessness. A normal trap card. Activate only while you control a face-up level 7 or higher monster. Destroy all face-up level 5 or lower monsters your opponent controls. Monsters you control cannot attack this turn. I'm sorry, I completely don't know how I've overlooked this card 14 episodes in a row, because this card is absolutely probably the definition of an overlookable card, or a card not to forget, because it's very vague, which is a common trend in these videos. All you need is a face-up level 7 or higher monster. Hello Dark Worlds side deck. Hello, what is it, Cosmos side deck. Hello Train side deck. We have all these high level archetypes, I guess you could say now, or I guess with the samples that I gave, it kind of shows the diversity. You can either have a deck like Dark Worlds that focus on getting one big boss monster out there that's level 7 or higher, and pretty much recycling him and spamming him whenever you need him to be out there. Combo that with a card like this, Proof of Powerlessness. Not only is it going to get past threats that are on the field, let's say a monster just was boosted up and has stronger attack points than your boss card, you can just get rid of it. But the real potential I see in this card is being able to use it as a kind of as a torrential, in a way, I guess you could say. Raigeki, I guess, in best case scenario, kind of using it defensively once you already have the setup. Let's say you already have the Grapha out there, and they go Pendulum Summon 3 monsters to the field. You can Proof of Powerlessness that destroy all those monsters, and they're not going to be able to set up their play this turn. You've set them back an entire turn just with a single trap card. That completely sounds like exactly the type of card you would want in an extra deck, or I'm sorry, a side deck, when you have a boss monster on the field. I don't really see a downside to this if you meet the conditions of the first part. I think it's kind of overlooked and definitely a card that belongs on this list. I've said that 3 fucking times already. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the last card of this video. That's going to be Transmigration of the Supreme Soldier, or Super Soldier Rebirth. One of those names. It's a normal trap card. Target one Black Luster Soldier monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Black Luster Soldier monster from your hand with a different name from that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Black Luster Soldier monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate this card once per turn, or the effect of this card once per turn. So that sounds like a lot of hoopla for a very situational monster like Black Luster Soldier. The reason why I see it having a better effect than it may seem on the card, because there's plenty of cards like this where it's kind of bullshit support, I would say, for extremely good cards, just to kind of fill in the name and make a pseudo archetype, is my understanding behind that process. I don't really know why they decide to go that route so often, but I feel that this one is not really as shitty as it may seem at first glance. So the first condition may be a little bit difficult to do at times. Black Luster Soldier, monster that you control. I do believe, here I can even check right now, I do believe that there are more Black Luster Soldiers nowadays. Here we go. So yeah, we have a couple. We have the Envoy of the Twilight and Sacred Soldier. So either of these could be special just by attributing Envoy. I would assume that this would still apply as if you summon Black Luster Soldier, and then you can still activate the trap after you've activated the effect to utilize it more so before it leaves the field. I think that I see this as kind of being the assault mode of Black Luster Soldier, because I know that these cards probably have very decent effects if they need to be specialed by this card. And that being said, this might be a little bit better than assault mode activate by itself, just for the fact that you can banish it from the graveyard, target your Black Luster Soldier, and add it back to your hand. So you can restart the process just with this 2-card little combo here. I would actually see this being splashable as well. If you have a way to possibly search this trap, or if you just constantly have dark and lights in the graveyard, then why not throw something like this in that can easily let you recycle your Black Luster Soldier and kind of win the game. If you're able to abuse Black Luster Soldier for more than a turn or two, it's very rare that an enemy can live through that. They usually have to get rid of it right away, and this card would kind of prevent that. So let's say whatever their answer is to Black Luster Soldier, you can respond with Super Soldier Rebirth and bring out another problem for them. And then to add the cherry on top of that problem, they will also have to deal with it once again when you banish this trap card from the graveyard and add it back to your hand. So it definitely turns one Black Luster Soldier play, which is kind of sacky, kind of pulled out of your ass, into a more beneficial play by tributing a simple Black Luster Soldier. So seems like this would be a card that you should not forget about, just like the previous 4 that were mentioned. So that's going to be it for this video. Remember to like the video, comment down below if you have any cards that you would like to see featured in this segment for future videos. In Cards Not to Forget, episodes 16, 17, etc., etc. Expect more of these videos, especially since there's so many cards that I just have to get caught up on. It seems like thousands are being released every year, and that's probably not an inaccurate number either. What have you though, let's go ahead and move on to the next video, and I will talk to you guys later. So have a great night.